A.R. Rahman was forced to release a video this week reiterating his patriotism. Rahman is one of the most recognized Indian artists in the world, whose body of work over decades, his awards, and the global stages he's represented India on has defined his place beyond dispute. At the time India marked 50 years of independence, Rahman released Maan Tujhe Salam, reintroducing Vande Mataram as a contemporary unifying song. More than 25 years later, it continues to be used across the country as a symbol of national pride. Yet, he found himself facing a wave of online outrage and attacks. It wasn't about his music, it wasn't about films, it wasn't even about art. This started because of one word he used in an interview, the word communal. This follows a BBC interview where he spoke of his work in the Hindi film industry reducing over the last 8 years. He said it not as an accusation, not as a conclusion. He mentioned communalism as a possibility indirectly through what he described as Chinese whispers. That single word was enough. Suddenly, Rahman was being accused of insulting Bollywood, of attacking Hinduism. His Muslim identity was pulled into conversation and controversy. Soon, even his patriotism was being questioned. His daughters were forced to step in and defend their father. But his critics and their statements ended up making Rahman's point for him. I am Pooja Prasanna, and let me explain. If you're wondering why Let Me Explain dropped early this week, well, this story needed it. Some conversations move fast and get messy, and our job is to slow them down, add context, and help you see the full picture. If you are a regular viewer, then you know that we do not hesitate from asking the difficult questions. If that matters to you and you want us to continue doing that, then do support us, because we depend only on you to keep us going. Scan the QR code on your screen and contribute any amount of your choice to support the show, or you can click the link in the description below. In an interview with the BBC Asian Network, Rahman was asked about prejudice in Bollywood. He started with gratitude, not complaints. He spoke of his early days in the Hindi cinema industry, feeling welcomed, finding the experience rewarding, and being grateful for the opportunities. Then he spoke about change. He did not accuse Bollywood of being communal. He did not say Muslims are being excluded. He did not present himself as a victim. Yet, suddenly, Rahman was framed as someone attacking the industry that made him, almost making him seem ungrateful for the opportunities he was presented with. Let's look at how people responded. Writer Shobha De called Rahman's observation a very dangerous comment. But notice what she did not say. She didn't say it was wrong. She didn't explain why it was incorrect. She didn't challenge his point about power in the industry having shifted. She framed the comment itself as dangerous. But dangerous to whom? Then came Javed Akhtar. He said he's never experienced communal bias in Bollywood and therefore does not believe Rahman's views are accurate. He also suggested that producers may avoid Rahman simply because he's too big and too intimidating. Now, there are two problems with this. One person's lack of experience does not cancel another person's own lived experience, especially in an industry where access, networks, and informal conversations matter more than formal rules. Second, the idea that Bollywood avoids one of its most successful composers because he's too accomplished reveals a lot more. The same argument is not heard of an actor, for example. Have you ever heard people say that Akshay Kumar or Ranbir Kapoor have not gotten work because they're too big and intimidating? Then singer Shaan argued that there's no communal or minority angle in Bollywood. He pointed to the success of several artists from the minority community as proof. He said that if this was really a communal problem, then even the three biggest superstars of the last 30 years, who also belong to minority communities, would not have continued to thrive. That's not how it is. Do good work, make good music, and don't overthink these things, Shaan said. But Rahman was not saying that minorities cannot succeed. By pointing to a few successful minority artists, Shan turns this entire conversation into a false binary. Either everyone is blocked or everyone's just fine. But that's not how power works. It ignores how access and gatekeeping actually function in this industry. His argument also ignores the pressures Muslim celebrities operate under. Many of them are careful about what they say, how they say it, and what they are seen supporting. Shah Rukh Khan, despite the enormous public influence he has, remains almost aggressively apolitical. Several Muslim actors in Bollywood carefully curate visibly pro-establishment public images. Only a few handful can afford to be openly outspoken, because the cost of being Muslim and famous in India is often higher. Rahman's own public persona is that of a soft-spoken Tamil Muslim, an overlap of identities that is easy to other in the Hindi heartland. And perhaps we can all agree that Rahman, of all the people, does not need to be reminded to make good music. The most aggressive response came from actor and BJP politician Kangana Ranaut. She escalated the situation by calling Rahman prejudiced and hateful. She said Rahman refused to compose music for her film Emergency, saying he did not want to be part of a propaganda film. She used her personal grievance against him to question his patriotism. But yes, several people also spoke out in Rahman's support. Singer Hariharan and composer Leslie Lewis both pointed out that the Hindi film industry has changed significantly, with creative decisions now increasingly controlled by corporates. Actor Paresh Rawal, who's also associated with BJP and their views quite a few times, publicly praised Rahman's integrity and contribution, calling him a national asset. Singer Chinmayi Sripada was among the earliest and the most vocal supporters of Rahman. Even Rahman's daughters, Khatija and Rahima, shared a message urging people to disagree but not disgrace their father. But the backlash didn't die down. The attacks only intensified. Rahman was forced to respond.
India is my inspiration, my teacher, and my home. I understand that intentions can sometimes be misunderstood. But my purpose has always been to uplift, honor, and serve through music. I have never wished to cause pain, and I hope my sincerity is felt. I feel blessed to be Indian, which enables to create a space which always allows freedom of expression and celebrates multicultural voices. From nurturing Jala, presented at the Wave Summit in front of the Honorable Prime Minister and Ruhi Noor, to collaborating with the young Naga musicians to create a string orchestra, to mentoring the Sunshine Orchestra, also building Secret Mountain, India's first multicultural virtual band, and the honor of scoring Ramayana alongside Hans Zimmer. Each journey has strengthened my purpose. I remain grateful to this nation and committed to music that honors the past, celebrates the present, and inspires the future. Jai Hind and Jai.
He did not say he was wrong, he did not retract his statement, but he did have to reaffirm his patriotism for his country. There have been many artists who have spoken about being excluded from projects or losing work in the Hindi film industry for reasons that had nothing to do with their talent or suitability. Kangana herself has claimed that she was denied roles and blamed nepotism for it. Vidya Balan has said that she was rejected many times earlier in her career because of the way she looked and not fitting a certain kind of beauty standard. Sonu Nigam has also spoken about a so-called mafia in the music industry. But nobody has faced the kind of backlash that Rahman now has. Instead of disagreement, there was just pressure to prove loyalty. Sometimes the reaction tells you exactly why the question had to be asked in the first place.